If you're a residential real estate agent earning $200,000 a year and you want to grow your passive income, this show's for you. Learn the secrets other agents use and hear from experts in our field in order to guide you along your journey to investing in assets like apartment communities so that you can turn your commissions into cash flow. I'm Randall McLeod. Let's go, baby. All right, welcome back. Excited to have you here today. Thanks for joining us. We are continuing the series talking to top producing real estate agents from around the country. Again, the whole reason to bring these guys on, these guys and gals, is so that they can share some of the strategies that they are implementing or using to grow their business right now in this environment, so that you can have similar success with your business, so that you can ultimately grow your active income. That obviously then you could transfer some of that into growing your passive income. And so today we're bringing on Daniel Stewart. He is an agent with eXp Commercial out of Las Vegas, and he's only been in real estate for a number of years, 3 years or so. And he started out in commercial and transferred over into the residential side. And so really only on the residential side for 2 years. And in that time, he's become one of the top agents in the Las Vegas market. He's in the top 200 agents out of over 18,000 agents. And so he's obviously doing something right. And I wanted to bring him on the show because he hasn't started investing yet. And I wanted to kind of ask him why and like where he is in that process. And so we talk about intentionality, goal setting, and he shares some of the things that he does that I think you'll find a lot of value in. And so without further ado, let's bring him on the show. Daniel, it's awesome to have you on the show today. Thanks for joining me. Really want to dive in and just talk to you, one, about your background, kind of how you got into real estate, and also just some of the deals and some of the things that you're seeing out in Las Vegas. So if you could just tell us brief history, like how you got into real estate and what you're working on right now.
Yeah. So, man, like for the past, right now I'm 27 years old. I would say probably around 21, man. I was just an entrepreneur at heart, man. I was working for a corporation, serving, and then I was always writing down business ideas, though, man. I got big into personal development, reading books, read Think and Grow Rich, of course. And then I opened up a mobile detailing business around 2018. And it just took off, man. But one thing I realized, there's just a lot of labor, and I was self-employed, but I was just working for myself like crazy. And I ran into one of my high school buddies that we played sports with in high school, and he was doing commercial real estate. And then real estate was always in one of my business ideas that I wanted to do. And then he kind of just pushed me to go forward. That was back in about 2020, right in COVID. So I got my license, and then it's all ever since then, man. I went all in, no plan B, burned the boats, just all in real estate. And it's been great, man. It's been awesome. I love helping people. And
yeah, I was gonna say that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Burn it down and just rock and roll. So you got it. So always the entrepreneurial spirit. That's interesting. And you jumped straight into commercial, because I know you were talking some residential as well. So what's your main focus right now?
I do strictly residential. I was dabbling in commercial a little bit, specifically the multifamily asset class, and I did that for about a year. But we hired a good amount of people on the commercial side of things that I was kind of doing residential and commercial at the same time. And you just can't do both, man. Like commercial real estate is a whole different ball game, and I'd rather be expert at what I do than dabbling into both. And I'm big on put in the best people with the clients and what their needs are. And there was no way I could serve commercial clients to the best of my ability if I'm doing residential too. They don't coincide as much. But that is why I stayed in multifamily, because it was the most similar. I had sold some fourplexes and things, so it was the most easiest thing and relatable thing. But now I'm all residential, and my team is commercial.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I saw the eXp commercial when you came through. And so, what does your brokerage look like? You're with eXp, and so are you on a team? Is it your team? Like, what was your evolution getting into the residential side?
Yeah. So when I first joined eXp, I joined a team, and that's definitely something I recommend to any new agent starting out. You have to get around the right people, right? You got to learn how to do the process. And luckily, I joined a team. Her way of training me, her name's Pam Jungi. Her way of training me was to just throw me in a transaction, and then kind of from there, I just started to build my own business. And I've been in it since 2020, so 3 years now coming up on. And I just started my own team. I have 2 agents under me, and we're looking to build, man. But it's all about having the right people on the bus for me.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, short period from 0 to having your own team. So what's transaction volume look like, and what is like? I had another EXP guy on. By the time this airs, I don't know when it will be, but and we were talking just brokerage in general. Like I was telling you a minute ago, I'm a broker as well. And so looking at the different brokerage models that KW and some of the big firms use, EXP has an interesting model. So again, he was just telling me how the rev share works and how that whole model is set up and how his team was built out. So I'm just kind of curious, what are you trying to build out on your team, and how do you see that growing, I guess?
I want to build it as much as possible. I haven't been agent attracting. All the people that have come to me have just been natural, but it's definitely something that I want to build. I have people around me that are making over 25 grand a month on revenue share. So there's a big opportunity there. As far as EXP, man, I love it because it's a global network and people are just connecting all over the place. And on the commercial side of things, EXP Realty and EXP Commercial are two different companies. But one thing I like about EXP Commercial is that we have a license portability. So we could actually transact in just about every state under EXP Commercial, which is very cool. As far as the brokerage model, though, it has a ton of things to offer. I think it's perfect for the person who is an independent agent and can produce on their own. However, if you're trying to build a team, it has all the things that support you. They do over 60 hours a week in training. And there's just a bunch of little classes you could jump into. And I guess with EXP Realty, the biggest thing that we found that was missing was that like in-office environment and just direct connection with other people rather than just online. Some of the top producers in EXP in Las Vegas actually started a group called the Synergy Community. And we have pretty much all of the Las Vegas agents in EXP. We do a bunch of events yearly, and then there's always weekly trainings every week. And just trying to add value to as many people as we can. But yeah, as far as like the EXP model, I love it, man. I mean, you're on an 80-20 split until you pay 16 grand into the company. Once you pay 16 grand into the company, and if you cap and then do a couple more transactions after that, you actually have the opportunity to earn that 16 grand back in the form of a stock at a 10% discount. And then you could also opt in to build your stock portfolio by having 5% of your every commission go into stock at a 10% discount. So I don't know where else you could get instant return on your money like that. So that's why I love it. And then you have rev share, of course. And once agents cap, if you're under a team, they cap at 8,000 and 2,800 on your first level. You have to have 5 agents on your first level, and then if they sign someone up, you get 3,200 per agent. So you could just really build a massive passive income through that. And what I love about it is that as real estate agents or a broker, you're always trying to find the next deal. And there's just like no really way out unless you're smart with investing, which I think everybody should be doing. But it's a good way to build passive income and really set yourself free.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, on the transactional side of the business, it is that you're always chasing a deal constantly. And so that's one reason I always like the idea of having rental properties, or I like the idea of having investments in something. But when you're looking at it from just the business model of the brokerage side of the business, it's even looking at, property management now. That's something that we're looking at, just because, again, you're building a book of business that is literally a sellable business whenever you have that book set up.
Property management's rough though.
Yeah, it can be. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those, it's a business that if you systematize it just like anything else, and then I know a lot of people who are very successful with it. It's like almost insurance at that point. You're selling a book, you're building a book of business. So yeah, but let's as far as the brokerage goes, yeah, I get all the splits and that sort of thing. I guess what I'm really driving at is, what is your is it currently you? I don't know what building a team means to you. Are you hiring agents right now in like a downline? Are you're solo right now, but you're building a team around you to like a transaction coordinator to help you grow your personal business?
I'm actually working on building a team. I truly value like helping people both on coaching as far as personal development and just building people. And it's all about who you surround yourself with. And, there's the sayings of you are the average of who you surround yourself with. But that's just been big for me, man. I really want to help other people grow. So I'm really focused on building my team. Of course, I have all the other things. I have a virtual assistant and transaction coordinator. And I really think as an independent agent, that's all you need until you're selling over 50 homes a year or something. But I've over the last year, I mean, that's all I had as a virtual assistant and a transaction coordinator. It's been lovely, but now I'm just focused on building a team and focusing on where my time is most valuable. So that's why I hired the virtual assistant to take care of all the marketing and things like that. And the biggest fear when doing that is just the money wise. But I promise anybody that delegating is only going to increase your income because you could focus on prospecting and connecting and building relationships more and more every day.
Very true. I agree 100%. So yeah, I read that you were out of how many agents in Vegas, and you were like in the top 100 or so. How did?
I was in the top 250 agents, right, and we have just under 19,000 agents in Las Vegas, and thought it was pretty cool. I'm not big on like all the little awards, but that was year 2. I completed that. I'm just entering my 3rd year, so it was pretty cool.
Proud of it. Yeah, for sure. Congrats. So I love having these conversations because I get to talk to a bunch of different agents and a bunch of different people in different positions in their career. A lot of older guys who've been doing it for a long time. You're young. I mean, you're still in your 20s, right? You're 27 now. Is that what you said?
Yep, 27.
Yeah, young buck. Okay, so you have a lot of investable years behind you. One of the guys that I spoke to he's a fund manager and he buys large multifamily apartments, right? And he was like, if you just invest over the long term and you just start putting your money to work, you have so many investable years. I mean, it's the same thing that Buffett's of the world espouse. So yeah, you have a long time. So again, I just like having the conversation to see where everybody is. Okay. So that's on the broker side of the business. You're building that thing up. So to get into that and to, I guess, accelerate your growth or to be successful when there's that many agents, I mean, that's a lot. And San Antonio, I think we had 8,000 last I checked. And so that's a decent amount of people going after a finite number of transactions that are going to happen in any given year. And so how do you have any strategies or things that you could share with other agents who are trying to either build a book of business or to have a successful year this year? Like what are one or two things that you can point to?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into being successful, but as far as like practical things, one thing that our team always uses is the 1-page business plan. I believe it's by Tom Ferry, but it basically breaks down, what's your goal, financial goal as far as sales volume, net income, all that stuff, and then under that goal is 3 categories you're going to focus on. So, is it farming, listing agent, lead generation, social media? Like, what are those 3 categories? And then under those 3 categories, there's going to be 5 different things that you're going to do every single day, every single week. But I think the first thing is to really get a clear goal. And I think it's actually more important to think of your long-term vision personally first and to create your business around your life. I think a lot of people create their life around their business, and that's how you start to burn out and stuff. So I think it's getting really clear first, and then but taking that plan, you could have the perfect plan, but if you're not doing it, you're not going to be successful. So it's time blocking, putting it in your calendar. What are the non-negotiables and personally and in your business? For me, it's like having 20 real estate conversations a day, creating content, doing more and more video, and just simple things like that. But I think it's all habits, man. Like I work hard, man. I work very hard. I wake up at 5 a.m. I go straight to the gym, and then right after the gym, I do a little meditation. I review my goals, get familiar with the feeling of what I'm trying to accomplish, and operate from that flow state. Then I do gratitude, and then I think a big thing too is just planning out your day the night before. And also measuring everything, man. That's the only way that you're going to find what works. Is I see a lot of people have these plans, but they're not measuring it. And you can't figure out your ROI without measuring it. Like for me, like I after my first year, I was like, well, man, like 10 transactions came from my sphere of influence, 5 came from referrals, 0 came from farming when I was farming. So like, where is my time most valuable? And so it makes you be able to spend your time where it's more valuable. So I think those are definitely top tips. But clarity, man, clarity is everything. And just trust the process, man. It's not in real estate. We're so trained to have like instant gratification, but it takes time and nurturing, and just focus on being a good person, giving value. I think my business really took off. I had a great first year, but it really took off when I just started focusing on giving value. That's all, man. Just if I could help you in any way. I've even turned down listings and turned down buyers going to go out shopping because I'm like, based on your situation, it's not best for you. And people really appreciate that. And the word of mouth, it'll always pay back tenfold. So just do what's right, be a good person, and work hard.
Simple. Just do the right thing. It is. Yeah. Yeah. No, solid tips. Okay. So I got 2 questions then to follow up with that. We're proud to be sponsored by Ridgeline Investment Group. Ridgeline has a track record of transacting more than $53 million in assets throughout Texas. Ridgeline is currently looking to acquire 100 to 200 unit Class B multifamily communities between 5 and 20 million in San Antonio, Temple, Waco, Tyler, and other Texas secondary markets. To learn more about Ridgeline Investment Group, visit www.ridgelineig.com. 2 follow-up questions. 1, what do you track most, right? And you're either in your personal life or in your business. Like I like to know what people's KPIs are, key performance indicators. And it sounded like 1 was you track 20 conversations about real estate a day. So that's something very easy and tangible that you can actually track. And then 2, what is the name of that resource that you gave again? It was like a goal tracking sheet, because I love that. That's a easy resource that people can actually go to and say, okay, here's a how-to system, right?
Yeah. So the first thing I think was the business plan, the 1-page business plan. I believe it's by Tom Ferry. Just helps you niche down and get very clear. And then as far as like time blocking, I think you start with a blank piece of paper and write down all the ideas and get it all out of your head. And then once you figure out what's the right, your perfect day, then you put that in your calendar. I use Google Calendar. And then I also there's a productive app, which is kind of cool. I like it because it starts measuring everything. So you just swipe right if you did it, you swipe left if you didn't do it that day. And, at the end of your week, you get a little report of how efficient you were. But what I realized too is like the personal life of things is so important. Like when I'm going hard in the gym and going all out in my personal life, it directly correlates to my business. So you have to, I think they both correlate hand in hand. And then as far as like measuring and everything, other ways, I keep all your pipeline on a spreadsheet. Everybody uses these CRMs, KV Core, and I think they're great programs, but my best way is to use a Google Sheet. You have name, number, notes about them, and keep everything top of mind in one place. So that's what I would suggest there.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. And so what do you mainly focus on? Like, what's your price point that you really like to focus on? And just for perspective, so people understand, like in Vegas, are you doing $1 million houses? Or are you doing median houses, or what's the story?
Yeah. So the median price out here in Las Vegas, to put it in perspective, is about $445,000. My average sales price right now is right around like $700,000. I'm trying to get that up a lot. I'm really trying to focus on the luxury market and just getting around those type of people. And I found that working with luxury buyers is actually a lot more funner for me personally, at least, because I just connect with them on a deeper level. Like I'm so interested on what they did to be successful and all that stuff. So, but there's a lot of luxury homes out here as well. But yeah, that's what I'm focusing on. Last year I did about 6 transactions over 1.3 million, which is about double the price out here in Vegas. So just focusing on that more and more. And I think it's just better to have my intention there. I mean, every real estate transaction, it's going to be a little different, but as far as residential transactions, it's the same exact process for everything. So why not focus on a higher sales volume? It's just working smarter, versus first-time home buyers, which I love too. There's so many more questions, there's so many more things, and just a lot more fear. And what I've learned with luxury people is that they're decision makers. If they like something or if they know something, like they make decisions, and that's what I like to be around.
Yeah, they make decisions. Yeah, one of the guys that I interviewed here, local in San Antonio, Jason, he's only ever done high-end luxury, and so we were talking about that, the difference. And one of the reasons I never got into the broker side of the business was just because it is on that low end or on the like entry level home price point. I mean, it is a challenge. You have unsophisticated buyers coming in trying to buy something, which they need homes and they need houses. And you could do really well if you focus there, but it's a volume-based business at that point. You're really trying to do as much as you can. Whereas on the higher end, you have a little bit more sophistication. He was telling me that markets really aren't affecting their business because there's a lot of cash buyers still at the $1 million to $2 million price point, right? And like you said, they're quick, they're coming in, they know what they want, and they make decisions quickly. So a little more litigious, I would say, but at the same time, it's a good trade-off. Again, dealing with a little bit more sophistication. So, okay, great. So we know what you're working on. So again, one of the main things, right, is to help agents understand how to grow their business so that they can stop working on the active side and start investing on the passive side. And so one thing you mentioned was that with EXP, you're able to grow that passive side because you're building a real business where you've got people in your downline that are actually helping produce, and anything they do, you get an override on. And so have you looked at, or have you started investing in real estate in any way? Have you bought any properties yourselves, or have you looked at, syndications and investing in, if you were in the multifamily asset class, do you still talk to those guys and see some of the deal flow that they have? Just kind of curious. Yeah. On the investment front.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, the past couple of years, man, I've just been trying to just stack my money and save up and finding the right people. I got a good team around me who are all investors as well. So I don't have any real estate just yet, but I definitely love commercial real estate. My favorite investments are it was multifamily until like interest rates went up and the market got kind of crazy. So I would say multifamily and triple net investments are definitely the ones that I love the most. It's just the perfect passive income, and you're just a glorified landlord, especially on the triple net. It's just so cool to think about, like, you could invest in a retail center and then you're literally choosing the people you want to work with and the businesses you want in there. And it's just an easy passive income if you just have the right tenants and everything. And then as far as like residential, I just don't see myself investing in a single family home at the moment. I've just seen so many people do it, fix and flips and all that. It's just so much work, I think, man. And that just takes me away of my business that I'm doing now. So I really ideally want to get into multifamily and triple net investments. Those are my favorite.
Are you thinking you'll be active, like you're going to sponsor a deal, you'll bring it, are you looking at those investments that other people are bringing to the table and saying, hey, here's an opportunity. Are you to, $50,000, $100,000 to invest in this deal? Which side?
So I'm actually open to both, but it would probably just be me finding the deal and doing it myself and going with my team. But that's the cool thing though about like commercial real estate is that a lot of, like, for a multifamily example, a lot of times the buyer is going to actually pay the commission, but and it's all about getting and investing, right? Because that's for longevity. So a lot of times, instead of getting paid a commission, you could just have them invest into the property, like I want 5% equity or something. And oftentimes the equity you get is going to be a lot larger than your commission. You're just not making it all at once, but you're setting yourself up for the future. So I haven't done either, but that's definitely the mindset. I definitely want to create passive income and have some investments. I know real estate is where real wealth is. Commercial real estate has taught me like how much wealth there really is out there. It's all around us. There's so many people in every single state that have so much money and that are doing this, and they're the ones on the boats and the yachts and the vacations. Like, it's those multifamily and those investors, real estate investors, that are doing that.
Yeah. On the boats and the yachts, flying the helicopters around, having a good time. So let's talk, I guess, multifamily. You were in the multifamily space. Kind of curious what your take was. And I know you got out, but at the time, what were you doing? What was your role?
So pretty much I was cold calling a bunch of owners through the commercial platforms and just seeing if they wanted to sell, because I seen the market skyrocketing. so that's what I was doing. But like I said, I track everything. I keep everybody's name and number down, even if they got pissed off at me or tell me to F off, whatever. I kept all their information and I took notes. This is the property. Or some people will be like, I'm not looking to sell right now, maybe in 2 years. Like I write down all those notes and I still have them. But that was my role, man. I was just prospecting. And then once I built up my spreadsheet, I literally like printed out a map and just being a deal maker, man. Then we have this seller who wants this. We have this buyer who's looking for this. And it was just pretty much all off market. And pretty much in 2021, at least 75% of the multifamily market was done completely off market. It was just relationships. That's it. And the reason why I think multifamily has been a little bit of tough is because at least in Vegas, it was one of the hottest multifamily markets. I think it was the hottest multifamily market out there for a while. And cap rates were only at, I think on average, about 4.5%. And after you underwrite them and everything, it's going to be even a little bit lower, which was fine at the time when interest rates were, 3% or even 4% or 5% for investors. And then even till a couple months ago, I think there was still a lot of value add because most sellers' properties, their rents were tremendously under market value. So you had time to get the property. Some people were even purchasing properties with negative cap rates, which was insane because they're banking on the fact that they could just increase all the rents and then eventually make some money, could do some value add, of course. But now, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you mean negative cap rates or negative net rates based on the interest rate? Was like it
negative? Like they're like negative cap rates. Like people were buying negative cap rates, like going into debt and losing money, just banking on that they could fix these up and get them back into shape.
Yeah. And so have you tracked those? Have you followed those?
Followed too.
Any of those deals that people bought?
Oh no! To be honest,
how's that working out right now? It may have, if they sold in time, I'm sure they got out and made some money because it was hot. That was the Wild West of investing. But if anybody bought those on bridge and now they're kind of stuck with the that's what's all coming down the pipe. I think.
Most of those transactions that I seen were late 2020 to early 2021. So if anything, they still got locked in at a super low interest rate, and I'm sure they increased rents by now and are probably making some money. But even if they didn't, 2021 was so hot they could even sold again because cap rates were very, very low.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very low rate.
Yeah. All right. So you're looking at, you're growing your team. You're doing, you haven't done the investment side of things yet. When do you think you're going to, or either what would stop you from investing in a deal if you found one, or I guess, what does that look like for you? Are you actively going out and searching on the commercial side for triple net deals? Or is that just like, hey, I'm going to get there someday? Like, what is your goal sheet? What's your one-page business plan tell you?
Yeah. So my biggest goal with the next year is to get I want to create a passive income of at least 5,000 a month. That's my biggest goal. And it's going to take partners. But I guess the only thing that has been holding me back was just doing my taxes. So after I filed taxes this year, I could actually qualify on my own. So that was actually the only thing holding me back. And I also I'm still learning, man, but I also understand that leveraging debt could be a good thing depending on what interest rates are and things like that. And I'm just not in the position to buy anything that I want with cash. So I was really just waiting to be qualified and then finding the right people. I got all my team that does commercial real estate. We're all in this together. We all have the same vision of just investing. So now we're just we're in the market now. If the right deal comes, then we're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's again, interesting talking to you. You're really 3 years in real estate and you have to have 2 years tax returns, right? And so, getting your taxes done, man, that's a big deal. It's I remember when I first started and I was probably around the same age as you. And I just got back from Australia and I was trying to buy something in the States and it was just difficult, and just having to work that system of I'm not really making any money yet, but I want to buy something. And so that's when, finding hard money and that sort of thing on the single family side. But that's certainly a thing to overcome. So,
and that's it too, I guess. I feel like even now I'm speaking almost from a little bit of a limited belief or just not knowing everything that's out there. Like I've learned more and more about just, investors and syndication type things and hard money loans. Like there's so much out. There's no reason to not get started. And then as far as like even a taxes thing, like there's a bunch of different programs where you could do as far as bank statement loans, or they have cool like 1099 ones where they'll actually take your gross income and deduct 15% off your gross income rather than actually looking at your net income. So there's options. You just gotta actually go out there and get it. And the past like year, I've just been focused on just saving up, and I've been investing in like a little other things like stocks and all that. But I know real estate is where I really want to do it. So it's just about finding the right deal for me. And things have just been they've just been interesting, man. Like it's all about finding the right deal, I guess. I mean, no matter what market is, there's always a deal to be found. So it's just finding that right deal.
Yeah. I would say, just based on our conversation and hearing how you've approached the follow kind of what somebody has prescribed, or you read a lot, it sounds like. And if you become intentional, I would say, let me put it this way. If you become intentional about the investing side of it, as you have other aspects and just the brokerage side of the business, I would say it's not going to be very difficult for you to get started, just because you take action and you're going and you're doing it. Because even just in that last statement, it's like, well, it's a loan, there's these types of loans and there's these other things that we can do, but it just, like, you personally, you haven't really taken the time to say, well, I'm going to go buy something like this, and this is how I'm going to do it. And if you don't know, then you just take the time to go figure it out, because that's all it really takes. You'll knock that out as soon as you do, as soon as you say that to yourself, I guess. Yeah. And so what's that? I was gonna say 100% agree too. Real quick is I did this personal development class, and it's so funny because it says exactly that. They say intention plus mechanism equals 100%. How much of it is intention and how much of it is mechanism. And, everybody's raising their hands. It's 50% intention, 50% mechanism, or 70-30. And you do exercise in the class, but the moral of the story, it's 100% intention, 0% mechanism. Yeah. So thank you for saying that, is what I'm trying to say, is because it is all just intention. I need to get more clear on the investing side of things as far as my intention. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm just saying, if that's in your cards and that's something you wanted, you just said it very well. You could absolutely go do it. But building your brokerage business up, I mean, that's nothing. That is not nothing. Sorry. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy. And so to have success on multiple fronts at the same time is challenging. And I would almost argue against doing that if you can't juggle all of those, or you don't have the systems in place in order to maintain or exceed or excel on the brokerage side of the business. It doesn't make sense to throw another iron in the fire and just do both of them half-assed, where you're just like, well, So yeah,
that's where it's at. That's something you can't slack on. You got to get in the game wherever you can. So that's where I am now, man. I'm looking. I could get more clear on the intention, but I am out there looking.
Yeah. I'd be curious to talk to you and at the end of the year and just kind of figure out what happened. What was your goal? Because one of the things that I first started talking about when I started the podcast was really, like, you have to figure out what your goals are. And as an investor in either multifamily or any kind of asset class, if you're going to be a limited partner, it's very similar. Like, you have to figure out what your goals are for investing. Otherwise, it doesn't really make any sense, because you can buy into a multifamily syndication that has zero cash flow, but it checks some other boxes. It's giving you a huge tax write-off, and you're going to be able to 1031 or, whatever the reason is. But if you don't have that going into it, then don't invest, right? Yeah. And so, it's the mechanism, I think, is there. You can find that, like you said, fairly easily. There's ways, but you have to know how and what you're looking for.
The clear intention brings the mechanism.
That's right. Yeah. Well said.
Over that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm always, again, a nerd out about the investing side of things, because, like I told you earlier, that's really all I've really done. The brokerage side of the business always came. We would do transactions, but it wasn't like we were focused on that. And so one of the things that I've been kicking around doing, and I've said it multiple times here on the show, is I've got all these different, like, how-to and different strategies on the single family investing that may or may not translate into the larger syndication deals. But But I think I'm going to put that together and just start giving that away. It's one of those things of like teaching agents how to just go and buy a deal, get over the fear. Don't like, here's how you do it. X, Y, and Z, just go knock it out.
No one's going to die.
What's that?
I said, one of my favorite sayings is no one's going to die.
Yes. Yeah. No one's going to die. That's right. Go do it. Okay. So yeah, I want to ask you a couple questions here, just not related to work. So, what's your favorite pastime not related to business?
Favorite pastime not related to business. Oh man, can't think of a time specifically, but I mean, some of my fun things are actually starting businesses because it's so fun. But like outside of work, I love snowboarding. I love hanging out with friends and just doing stuff like that. I'm a simple guy. I love eating out, love food places. I love food. So, but outside of work, man, it's hard. I think I really appreciate growing up, I guess, with my dad. My dad was, he was an interesting dude, man. He was always like building cars and like in the lowrider thing. And then he went on to build like rat rods. So it was always cool. Like seeing him build that stuff. And then there was like a nerd side of him too that like collected Star Wars stuff and all that. So I think I just appreciate like having him by my side growing up. So that was super cool. And I also realized like not everybody has their parents and all that stuff. So I really appreciate just time with people I care about, honestly.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Snowboarding. So where do you go out of Vegas? What's your go-to spot?
So Selling Point in Vegas, right about 30 minutes from, if you're traveling from downtown, I guess the Strip, since that's where most people know, it's about a 40-minute drive to Mount Charleston is what it's called. The ski resort is called Lee Canyon, but it's an awesome little place. And then you also have Bryan Head, which is about 3.5 hours out in Utah. Those are the top two places I go. I love snowboarding. Need to get some more runs in before the season ends.
Yeah, man. If I was closer, I would. We just got back from Breckenridge, had good runs up there, and then we did some Vail as well. But yeah, I love to board. It's always fun.
Yeah, I need to get down there, man. I heard
there's none in San Antonio, man. Don't come here for snowboarding. Come here wakeboard if you ever make it San Antonio, we'll take you out. Wakeboarding or surfing. Wake surfing is always fun. Less like wakeboarding is similar to snowboarding. Like if you catch an edge, you're just it's not gonna feel good.
Yeah, I've done it. I felt pretty hard on it a couple times.
Yeah. Have you wake surfed?
Wake surf? No, that's where you're just on a board with no rope.
You're literally surfing a wave. The boat, man, they fill the ballast up on one side, and you can just surf behind it. And so
it was fun.
You fall doing that and you just kind of like slowly sink down. You're like, oh, that was nice. Yeah. It's the way to go. We don't get many waves here in San Antonio either. So that's an easy way to get out and surf a little bit. I was telling you, I lived in Australia, so I get to surf out there all the time. It was fun, but now that's what we do. So anyway, So what is the best thing or memory that you've had with your family in the last, 60 days or recent history? Could be you, your family, whatever.
Past 60 days. I think it kind of just, nothing crazy has happened. What my girlfriend, her brother recently had a kid, so that's been cool. And then I just been more intentional about spending time with my family. My dad lives out in Arizona, so I've been trying to go see him at least once a month, spend some time with him. And then my mom lives out here in Vegas, so I always try to take her out to dinner or go on a hike. She loves hiking, so I just try to do little things like that. And that's what matters to me. I mean, it's nothing too special in the past 60 days, but yeah.
Just get those activities in. It's good. Yeah, I got to get better at being intentional with that. We just went camping and it was nice to get out and go and do that, but more family time is always good. And then finally, name one or two people who've been most influential to your success.
Man, by far, Pamela Jungi and Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli was one of my friends from high school that we played sports together. That he's actually right here. But we connected, and he got me back into real estate. But he's just been super solid, man. And of just stick with the vision, man. Believe in yourself, both of them, Frankie and Pam, both believed in me more than I did in myself at times, so they've been tremendously helpful. Frankie on, the personal level and stuff. And then Pam, she's just been a great business person. She has so much experience. She's been in the game for over 35 years. So she's seen it all. She's helped me be a better just communicator, leader. She helps me step outside of my comfort zone, and just both of them believe in myself more and more. And that's what it comes down to. Self-confidence is, where everything starts. You have to have that to be successful.
Yeah, that's great that you have them to lean on and that they provided that for you, especially getting going. So, all right, Daniel, it's good catching up. I appreciate you sharing your insights and what you're seeing in the Vegas market and some of the tips and things that help you be successful. So we'll link to your contact information in the show notes, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Did you know that 80% of the agents we speak with got into real estate in order to gain passive income so they could obtain financial freedom and become work optional? If you want to stay up to date, the best way is to make sure you're subscribed. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do it now. We'll catch you on the next episode.